Hello viewer, my name is Noblevegas, and I am a player of strategy games, tycoon style games, and I have decided to take my foray into making some videos. And today I'm going to start with Crusader Kings III. I have many hours into this game as one that I get a great deal of enjoyment out of, and let's get started. A playthrough that I have been thoroughly enjoying is actually a Unite Africa campaign. It is one that I have tried a few times. It takes a little bit of time though, and I've had to restart a few times because it hasn't gone well. But let's see what we can have done here. Alright. So I like starting out here down in the south because there's a lot of smaller groups. Ghana stays out of the way for a little while, and it gives us a chance, the opportunity to really build up into a duchy, a kingdom, and then an empire fairly quickly. And so I'm going to look through here and see who we can find that has some decent military strength to start. So, Chiefdom of Bassa at 725. 605, 505, that one's large at 2 counties. 2 counties as well. 725 here as well. 705, 604. So I think we're gonna start actually in Bassa. I've done a Bassa start before, but I kind of like starting over here in Bassa instead. 32, we have an heir who's 14, so he'll be coming around quickly. That will allow us to work towards alliances. With Bassa, we have 20 years old, no heir yet. So I think this will be a good playthrough. So let us get started from here. Alright, first things we need to do, so our daughter is our heir, and the first things we need to do is we need to establish a lifestyle. Learning gives us a 40% advantage. That is actually quite good. And I think with as young we are and the martial that we have already, that's probably a good spot to go with. We can go with learning and a small boost. Development growth is not ideal for the early run here. Most of Africa in this area is tribal, and so development has no impact, if I am remembering correctly. We can also go with learning and piety. The piety, I think, is the one we're going to go for because that will allow us the ability to continue declaring more wars to help consolidate our titles. So I think that's the one we're going to go with first. Alright, next, we're not employing a court physician. We'll need to do that. And just to make sure that our shaman stays happy with us and endorses us, we're going to go there. We also have men-at-arms regiments. We have 1 of 2. We're going to station our bush hunters, which is a great advantage in jungle terrain, which we're going to have a lot of in this area. And so we will get them stationed for that boost. Alright. Not employing a wet nurse. I am now playing with a few of the DLCs added on that I didn't have before. I just recently added Legends of the Dead, as well as Legend of Persia, though that probably won't come into much of an effect here. We don't have great choices, but I think we'll go with, let's see, we have Cynical, Callous, and Diligent. We don't really want somebody callous, but all 3 of them have it. Diligent and Stubborn, Cynical, Content, Diligent, and Cynical. So I think we're going to go with Cortolo here. She's not super happy with us, but this should help flip that over. So we now have a wet nurse. And then we now have ourselves in a pretty basic setup. We are married. So the first step is to begin looking at titles we need to go for. And first thing we want to do is try to work towards the duchy title here. And so it looks like our first move is going to be towards Nuon. I think we're going to hold off for just a moment to create a second men-at-arms regiment, because light footman is also good in jungle. And so we're going to spend that up and grow those. And once we have those 300, then we will start our first war. So we're going to let that run. We're going to keep it on a medium speed just as things pop up, because they can go fairly quickly here. So under our legends, obviously we have nothing, starting out with little to go off of. So our plan here is to work towards our duchy title and then establish title for the Kingdom of Guinea, which that is going to take some effort because that's a lot of territory. And then eventually we want to work our way up to the Empire, which takes us across all of southern Africa here. So that's the direction that we're going to go in, but for now we're starting with just the local title. We'll go ahead and increase speed. There's not a whole lot we can really do right now. We don't have much coin to spend in. And Palisades is a great addition, really helps to hold things out, but we need a lot more before we can do something like that. That helps get us there, though. I don't think I really want to host any grand tournaments right now, so I'm going to turn that notification off. And we will dismiss that. So we're seeing 111. Well, we still need 200 prestige. We should begin to gain that here soon. As a matter of fact, that's one thing we haven't done, so we can start local raids. And we'll move over into our neighbors here, which probably not a good idea to go that direction anymore. So we'll work our way north. We do need our council positions. I like working towards training our commanders. Again, development isn't that great because it has no effect in tribal lands. And our spy master isn't fantastic, so we'll just leave it that way. We'll make sure he doesn't have any good stats. Yes, we'll go ahead and put in 4K here instead and get a little bit of a boost out of that. He's also better in diplomacy, but it's only a 2-point difference, so we want to take that advantage in stewardship. And that's the way that we will keep going, and we will let that continue running now. Move into our battle. This should be a pretty handy victory here. Unfortunately, because we've recently gone into battle, it will not allow us to actually raid. I'm not sure why that is, but that's just the way that that goes right now. Eric Paul low. Great martial, great prowess. What I always like to look for is intrigue. It's about medium, just to make sure that there's no issues there. So yeah, we will take that person on, and we will continue moving our troops around. Unfortunately, it looks like most areas around us have been raided. We'll move into Grabo because I believe, yeah, they're pretty low on their numbers. And Gorpue's first steps. I hear a commotion from my daughter, Gorpue's chambers. Hastening inside, I see the wet nurse Cortolo is playing with Gorpue. My liege, perfect timing. Gorpue just took her first step, she shouts excitedly. Holding my girl's hand, she tries to walk her around the room. A giant step for a child, a small step for a ruler. That does give us the needed prestige gain, so we can do some builds. Also increases opinion. What else can we do? Add stress, but does increase prowess. And I don't have time for this. Forms a rivalry. So we're going to take that prestige change, allow that up. We're going to go back into our city, and we are going to start working on palisades. Get us a little bit more defense as we do this, and then we'll allow things to move forward from there. I think at this point, yeah, we're getting close on the size for our men-at-arms. And then we'll move in, and we will do a little bit of raiding here. Resulting loot will be 15. We can add that to the coffers as well. There we go. Is there anywhere else that we can go to? Chief of Man. Military strength 724. I'd say that's a good one. Let's try to extend ourselves a little bit, and then on a return we can try and hit Nuon again. Right, we have a spot here that we can raid. Won't be a whole lot, but it allows us something. They're going to come and try to defend that, and oh, nope, they're moving off. I figured they would come to defend. They like to do that a lot. Alright. With my leave, my daughter Gorpue and her wet nurse parade into my chamber. Cortolo poses like a herald and proclaims, "My liege, you witness a monumental occasion. Gorpue has a mighty gift to offer you." She nudges her forward. "Go ahead, Gorpue, tell him." "Father, I lost a tooth." My daughter proudly presents her toothless smile, handing me a pouch with the fallen tooth inside. "Lovely, but keep your tooth as a good charm." Again, we get a prestige gain. Allows them to keep the milk tooth, which is a very minor prestige gain, and child opinion, and gains 10 opinion. Here, a gift befits a gift. We can pay 5, and we get the tooth, and they gain opinion, or again, I don't have time for this. We're going to let them keep it, and we will take the prestige gain, so that we continue builds as we work to expand. Alright, so we are now moving up. Another one, Gorpe's first words. "Hurry, my liege, you have to hear this." The wet nurse Cortolo rushes me into my daughter and heir's chambers. Cortolo points at Gorpe in excitement, so I lean towards her and listen. Anansi. Looks like Gorpe is already a devotee. How delightful. We already know this is going to be what we go through, because again, it's either stress or forming a rivalry, so we will take the piety and the opinion boost. Our child is advancing quite quickly, as a matter of fact. So while they are raiding there, we are actually going to work on educating the child. Clear characters. We go to sum of all skills. 10, 20, 38, 43. Looks like we are the best option here, and so we will start educating for that stat boost. Alright, we're done here, so we're going to move through Nuon before we come back for one last raid run, let our troops build up, and then we will attack Nuon and begin working towards creating the duchy. Ooh, plagues are spreading nearby. Alright, we're going to pause after this first. Garpe's first enrobing. As I patiently await the fetching of my clothes, a servant stutters, "My lord, no one can find your garments." "I'm surrounded by incompetence," I mutter, storming from my bedchamber. It's in the nursery of my daughter Gorpe that I discover not only my raiments, but also the girl's wet nurse. "I had no part in it, my liege. She dressed herself," Cortolo responds with a giggle. "The little scoundrel." Gain prestige and 10 opinion. Gorpe gains the nickname the Princess of Fashion and gains opinion. Or, "I don't have time for this." Little scoundrel. Alright, now we're looking. There are a few nearby. Let's zoom out. So we have the Melpox that is growing in far west Africa. Makokin sweats. I don't see where those are really coming from. Is it really telling me about this all the way up here? Franconian boils, Arabian boils. Interesting. Alright, well, we'll keep an eye on that as we progress, and we'll move back to our place. Moving through the capital of Nuon now. As I lean over the map in the council chamber, a sudden creak turns my head towards the door. My daughter Gorpe appears in the hallway, running like the wind towards me, shrieking, "Hugs!" She leans in close and encloses my hips in a firm hug. I look at her, a hidden tear in my eye, while my hand is stroking her hair in an effort to reciprocate the gesture. "You're a good daughter." Lose 15 stress. You didn't have any stress to begin with, but hey, we'll take it. It looks like we're going to have a little bit of a battle here. Unfortunately, it looks like we're going to have a very big problem shortly. Nope. Okay, no issues there. return home, we can ransom, and that gives us a good amount of cash there, so we will do exactly that. Alright, the ransom has been paid, and the raid loot delivered, 52 coin and 52 prestige. Again, we don't need to worry about the grand tournament for the time being. And then we will come down and disband our army. Send everybody home, and let our numbers rebuild in advance of our coming war. First, expectations. You are always there for me, and I hope you know that I am grateful. My daughter and heir, Gorupe, approach me in a rare display of courage and openness. Well, this isn't going to go well because we're going to need to stress gain either way. We get a weak hook when I need it. I expect you to be there for me too. 17 stress for being honest, but a weak hook. And that's what it means to be a guardian. You go closer to forming a friendship with Gorupe. Gain 17 stress because you are greedy. And they gain 15. There's really no reason to have a weak hook on our daughter, and we get the same amount of stress either way. So we're going to form that friendship and gain the opinion along with the stress. Alright, we are available for a perk. Currently we have scientific, which adds cultural fascination progress. We can do increased development in the county, which doesn't work for us right now. Your ward can get additional skills and become friends. Learning language success chance 25% for pedagogy. That's actually a pretty good one. We have faithful if we wanted to start the theologian line of trades. Clergy opinion plus 10. Anatomical studies and whole of body. Court physician costs less to hire. And treatments have better outcomes. I'm going to keep working through on the scholar trait. It adds to learning, it adds to scheme success chance. Yes, it does add to development growth, which does not help us right now, but the other advantages that come through are a little bit better as far as our short term here. So we're going to unlock pedagogy and continue on. We will unpause and we will let our military rebuild. We need a few levies, and we need a bunch of men-at-arms. We're going to leave the bush hunters in as the stationed men-at-arms as they get the slightly larger bonus. If we were to try and put these here, we'd only get +3 and 4.8, whereas our guys here get +9. They may not have as much in toughness, but they make up for that in their additional damage. So I'll actually keep that open and wait for our numbers to grow. So we're getting pretty close already. We can exchange hostages with men. Well, since that territory specifically is one we want, we won't be doing that. Up to the task. Some of my counselors believe the job is theirs by right of blood or influence alone. How wrong they are. I expect results, yet I am often disappointed. After a long day, I complain to Mayuple when she interrupts me. Let me do something about it, husband. A few lessons might sharpen their wits. We can give the Chancellor Sundaygar could use a court tutor. Give a few lessons to my steward 4K. Perhaps you have some advice for Spymaster Mayuple, or stay here with me instead. You lay with Naya Mayuple. I think that's actually the direction we want to go, because we still do need a male heir. So we're going to go with that route instead and hope it works towards an heir. In fact, we could actually also be working on a romance scheme and work towards soulmates. Not a great option. What if we just did a seduce option for lovers? That one has a better chance, so let's go with that one. Alright, I believe our troops are pretty close to full here. Our men-at-arms are, our levies are getting fairly close. We only have, well, we've got even fewer now, about 53 left. So I think after the next month's cycles, we should be able to begin our first campaign. How is our child doing? She's now 6 years old, so we could probably start looking for a spouse eventually. But for that, we need to be a little careful and make sure we don't accidentally create an alliance with a nearby neighbor for somebody that we're not keen on keeping around as an ally. Beneath those layers, how should I approach Nana Mayuple? She seems like a reserved individual who prefers silence as a companion. At least that's how she appears on the surface. Who knows what sort of person she is in private? Is she meek and submissive, or perhaps passionate and fiery? I'll find out once I have breached her stony exterior. For now, I have to decide how to make myself remain in her thoughts after spending some time alone. Be as gallant and as charming as possible. You think that Mayuple has a secret romantic side and prefers ardent lovers. You think she is the type of person who prefers gentle lovers. Or I'll just wait for the right opportunity. So these rarely give us decent advantages, and I don't know for sure what helps sway these in the decision, or if it's just a coin flip within the game. But I usually like to take into account their statistics. So in this case, her intrigue is the highest value. And so my guess would probably be that they would want a romantic side with ardent lovers rather than gentle. So we're going to try that route and see what happens. I managed to get a moment alone with Naya Mayuple. I bide my time balancing flattery and conversation. Then, as the right mood settles, I reach out and clasp Mayuple's hand in mine. I lay bare my feelings for Mayuple and declare my underlying love for her. Not even in my wildest dreams could I have imagined you were this passionate, Nidhu, she exclaims while desperately fanning herself. While she doesn't respond to my proclamation in kind, I'm certain that the shade of red on her ears is due to her blushing ferociously at my bold words. It shouldn't be long before she reciprocates my feelings, so it did work out. Don't know if the reason why I chose it actually played a part, but it worked that way. Alright, so as we get to building up here, we should see our troops. Okay, our troops have pretty much maxed out. So we're going to put in a cut here, and in the next video, we are going to begin our campaign to try and create the duchy title of Bassa. I hope you enjoyed the video, and make sure to leave any comments below, and enjoy the rest of your day.